Here we go. It's time for another sprint zone. This one's for 5-2, and it's taken me a little while to get this one out. Regardless, here we are. Little showcase of Anna there wearing the GCN kit. I think that's probably the first GCN kit I've actually seen in the wild. Pretty cool. Looking rearward, and I just wanted to showcase the beauty of the Peloton. Side by side, looks like Eric and Fred, John and Curtis. Looks like Scott back there. I can see JC, etc. So it looks like a pretty good crew today. Everyone is riding properly. I love the side by side handlebars of Fred and Eric. This shows seasoned riders that know how to ride. Everybody's relaxed here, and people are pointing out things as we enter into the sprint zone. So Anna and I are up front, and we're doing like 19. We dropped the speed that was happening earlier at around 21 or so because, well, there's no reason that it should be any faster. And this is the warm up, and this is how things get out of hand if we allow the speed during this portion to hot up. At some point, maybe we'll change that, but I enjoy a good warm up, as does everybody else. And anybody who wants to do work is more than welcome to come to the front. Which recently, there isn't a lot of people, except for the strong men, that want to do that. Lots of people just sitting in. You can see my wattage drops as we enter the sprint zone corner onto Prospect. Everyone positioning themselves nicely, and you can see in the map in the upper left-hand corner that we are about to get the game afoot. Make the corner, lots of signaling, and Anna and I are up front, and we don't think we need to be here that long. And as I've stated before, there's like lethargy in the group. People are just more than happy just to sit in because they just want to try to hang in. And to be honest, sitting in, especially going up kind of at 5, etc., and today I was looking at my wattage, I think I had an average of like 68 watts by the time we got to this point. And I had sat in the entire time. This just points out that sitting in, basically, you're getting some good zone 1 work. And if you want to get warmed up for the sprint zone, you need to come to the front and make something happen. And maybe we just need to increase the speed, I don't know. Regardless, you can see my wattage in the 150s, 160s, keeping people honest, but no real effort there. Anna staying out in front a little bit as she drifts back, and the men begin to take to the front in an orderly pace line. I like this. I just kind of wish we were going a little faster. And you can see the speed here, 16 miles per hour. We were going faster during the warm-up portion. And yes, this is a little bit of a grade, but still, it's like nobody wants to hot things up early. And it's kind of unfortunate because I don't get a lot of work if that doesn't happen. So I may, go to the front and make things happen. Anyway, Anna looking good in the GCN. There's Ilka, two of the finest women in the Peloton. Steve's Highland up there looking good. Looking rearward, we see Danny. And we've got Jason, Ian, looks like Rick, and Andy Lockwood, and Byron, the Beast, aka Superman, bringing up the rear. So now things are getting a little hotter. I can see that my wattage has gone up a little bit. As strongmen, no doubt, begin to hot things up, and the speed has increased to 18. Still, nothing crazy as we crest the hill. People sitting in, looking to just relax. There we see Josh, long time OG that hasn't been around in a while. Good to see him back in the fold. And we are taking up the road. People now trying to jockey for position because they fear what might happen in a few moments. Strong man up there looks like JC in the pink, looking good. Here's a good shot of Josh, looking good. Used to be the strong man on this ride, but now I believe will be challenged by a few of the men that are newcomers. Ilka riding super strong on the gravel bike. She would be a real threat if she had a road bike, or even some faster tires. But her watts per kilogram are high, no doubt higher than mine. And the only thing that holds her back in the sprint zone is probably, well, not probably, is the bike. Now we've got some honest speed here. 25 miles an hour, and my wattage has gone up a little bit sitting in. And now we have the rearward view up in the upper right-hand corner. Special thanks to Byron, who's provided his footage. I added that last moment. Kind of interesting that it actually came in upside down, so I had to do some transforms to fix that, but it looks good. And this gives everyone a chance to see yours truly back there with that big camera on his head. Looks kind of goofy. Anyway, the game is afoot. Josh looking good. Danny looking strong. Marcelo over there, who has actually smoothed out his stroke from the previous week as he gets more fitness. My heart rate's up to 145 as the speed's up to 27. I think that's actually a little bit low. Nice car passing us. And I pan with it, looking up front. We can see the big dog Byron moving to the front, and strongmen that realize that this is dangerous go to follow. Looks like Mark here, newcomer from the Fort Collins Cycling Club, a strongman already, knowing how to read the group, and he is quick to be on the wheels of the strong men. Hernan looking really good up front in that really colorful kit. You can see the green that was there above his shorts. Looking rearward, everybody's still there. Anna looking strong, Danny looking strong, Curtis Jensen looking really strong. See John back there, and it looks like Fred in the mix. When everyone is hanging tight, looking on Byron's wheel, we see Joel has found a good spot back there, and it's looking really smooth. Speed up to 24, and I must say there is actually quite a headwind up there, and it's definitely keeping people together. And I must say how pleased I am with the new folks that are in the group that are able to not only contribute, but are riding safely as if they've been doing it their entire life. Eric looking good up there, looking rearward, things are starting to separate. Josh out there in the wind, and in the old days would not have been a problem. And you can see Josh just disappeared, and this is where the camera actually stitches together the frames because there's a problem where it can't instantaneously record. So I'm gonna have to start the camera later to get a smooth so I don't lose that many frames there because it throws off the power numbers a little bit. So I may end up starting the camera later so that it doesn't switch actually files in the middle of it. But regardless, it is what it is, and it doesn't affect things too much unless you really care about the power number syncing up. Strongman at the front, everybody still together. Grupo Compacto. Mark was up front doing his turn at the front, representing the Fort Collins Cycling Club very well. Marcelo hanging out there looking good. Eric having a good time. Danny's face being covered by some of the footage there and looking rearward of Byron. People are coming up to the front. I'm looking good here, very comfortable, and you can see my wattage isn't super high here because sitting in. Oh, and there goes a shot of Ben Nelson the week before his half Ironman 70.3, in which he got a podium, second place. Congrats there, little shout out. Well done, Ben, representing Colorado well. Looking rearward, no one has violated the yellow line rule in this one, which is good, and people are starting to do a little bit of work. And now Byron has gone to the front, Hernan on his wheel, Marcelo letting a little bit of a gap open up in between, perhaps just to allow Mr. Highland to come in and take that slot. I'm recognizing the danger here, and so I am on it. Joel looking strong, Danny looking strong, JC sitting in, a strong man, a danger man. And we shouldn't really actually allow him to be sitting in like that, but we will give him a pass because he's somewhat recovering and probably down maybe 30 or 40 watts from what his usual self is. Marcelo, like I said, looking much better than the previous work, smoother. And he's showcasing his kit, the DIPG. It's a charity. Ask him about it sometime. It's a very important illness that's not well known. Looking rearward again, pretty much selection is starting to be made. Andy Lockwood out there in the wind looking good. Joel looking good. It looks like kind of two echelon there, and everyone is very respectfully honoring the yellow line rule. There we got Josh out in the wind, going almost mano a mano, at least in the wind with the big dog Byron. I'm not certain how long he can sit out there with that kind of wattage because there is a slight wind coming from our right shoulder. Scott looking good, and it looks like at this point it's not quite the Josh of old as he slides back through the group, and it might be no mas as the big man leaves the selection. Everybody looking strong, and I might have the last slot in the echelon or pretty close to it. Byron pulls off, still on the gravel bike. Hernan looking good. And here's where I just thought I need to make a little bit of a push for it because nobody else was going to. My wattage up to 40, to 30, looking strong. People are starting to fall back. And then Steve attacks. And I try as I might to get on Steve's wheel, but it was a little too much for me to be able to close that gap. And with the headwind up there, and you can see my wattage, into the 300s, and still not making any gain here. Wheel Suckers, John comes through. Curtis, might be a slight yellow line violation there. Byron comes through. Hernan comes through. Looks like Eric and Marcelo bringing up the rear. Scott and Andy Lockwood in the final selection as I fade and wave goodbye to the peloton. Well done, everyone. Well done. And I enjoyed that one. It was pretty difficult to sit out there in the wind and get around Byron. And it was interesting that when Byron came off the front, there wasn't a lot of people looking to take over the mantle of leadership on that one due to the difficulty of the wind. And I wish there was a way to actually illustrate that here so everyone knows how brutal it really was. Just want to say everyone rode really well. Got to give it up to everybody. Smooth riding, very safe. As you can see, even though it looked like we might have been all over the road, I believe only one, maybe two cars passed us. So, and they didn't do any lane splitting, so I feel really good about that. Good time was had by all. Can't wait to do it again next week. Actually, it is a week later, and we did it again next week. And for somehow my camera battery discharged itself in my pack at work, and so I didn't get any video. But I'm hoping to maybe borrow some from Ian for the week coming up. Anyway, a good time was had by all, and to all, a good night. Peace out, everyone.